Okay, hi everyone, welcome to this information session of the fall 2023 Barcelona program. My name is Alice Yang. I'm the Acting Director of Special International Programs for Skyline College and SMCCCD Study Abroad. I manage the district's study abroad programs, including semester programs, faculty-led programs, global and virtual internship programs, community travel programs, transfer abroad services, and a special program that is U.S. Passport Office. Our college's mission is to empower and transform a global community of learners, and we hope our students can be global learners through our study abroad programs and be equipped with global experiences and skills needed for your future career. In 1986, SMCCCD participated in the Northern California Study Abroad Consortium, NCSAC, which is composed of 4 community college districts with the American Institute for Foreign Studies, AIFS, for a semester-long program in London. That was the beginning of the history of our district's study abroad programs. And then in the past decades, many more programs have been created. I'm glad that you plan to study abroad and make use of the resources and the services we provide to you to enhance your global intercultural competence and have the courage to explore the world. Our study abroad programs offer quality services, information sessions, pre-departure orientation, and on-site services and re-entry programs to support you. Now I want to introduce a few study abroad staff members and the faculty leader of the program here. And Stephanie Wells is our study abroad program services coordinator. And she's the primary contact for students during your application process. And Dr. Jeremy Ball is the faculty leader for this program. And he's a philosophy professor at the College of San Mateo. And Paula Messina is the AIFS Abroad Regional Director of University Relations based in California. So they will lead the information session today. Now we have some housekeeping announcements. So this this information session is recorded, and we welcome you to ask questions. You may put your questions in the chat box, and Stephanie and I will manage the questions. And then at the end of the session, we'll have time for live questions in the end. Now Stephanie will do a poll. Stephanie.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do a quick poll to see who is here with us today. It's helpful for us to kind of know where folks are coming from. Right, so all right, looks like everyone answered, and majority College of San Mateo and some Cañada, Peralta, and some staff and faculty. So there we go. Awesome. Great. Well, welcome. We're glad you're all here. And without further ado, I will go ahead and let Professor Jeremy Ball and Paula Messina from our partner AIFS.
Would you mind making me a co-host so I can share screen? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Yes, I will do that.
Perfect.
I think she can share it now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You beat me to it.
Great. Oh, sorry about that. Professor Ball, are you okay if I start off? Or
Absolutely, sounds
okay.
fantastic.
Okay, let me know. First of all, I want to apologize for being late. I completely got my meeting. I have 2 meetings tonight, 2 info sessions, and I totally got them reversed. Did not check my calendar, just went off memory. So I My name is Paula Messina, and I am part of the University Relations team for AIFS Study Abroad. And I'm thrilled to be here with you all tonight to talk about the amazing semester program that we have to Barcelona.
Great. And I'm Jeremy Ball, and I'm going to be sort of the sidekick of the meeting. I'm going to sort of chime in on occasion, add a little color, but I'll actually be on the trip with you in Barcelona. So I'm very excited that you're here at the meeting.
Awesome. All right. So if you all have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. It has to do with the slide. We'll probably get your questions as we go along, but or you can just put them in the chats or save them until the end of the presentation. But just to give you a general idea, this is a customized program for the 4 districts that Dr. Yang, mentioned. Students from all over Northern California will be in class with you attending these programs, and the 4 faculty that we send, each one will be from one of the different districts. And before we get to the real nuts and bolts of the program, I did want to point out a little bit of, the advantages to studying abroad, right? It is an amazing experience, right? You get to travel to another country, live there, but we want you to think about study abroad as an investment, right? Fewer than 10% of US undergrads study abroad. So having that experience on your transcript, having it on your resume later on when you enter the job market, does help single you out. It makes you stand out from 90% of your peers. It definitely will help for transfer. Maybe you're thinking of a UC or a Western Ivy League, and it shows that you have attained really desirable skills. Things like that intercultural competence, right? That ability to relate to and speak with people from, empathize with people from other cultures, that you understand diversity because you have lived in a whole different environment, that you're a problem solver, right? Living in another society means a whole other set of rules, and you're going to have to figure out those rules and solve those problems, right? How do I buy Tylenol? A whole different process, right? There's no Target in Spain. So, you're going to have to problem solve on a daily basis. And then those soft skills or personal skills that you learn, things like independence. I think for me, when I was a study abroad student, that was the biggest one that made me the proudest, right? That I could live independently, far from my parents, and I could survive and I would be okay and thrive. That you'll learn openness and tolerance, adaptability and flexibility are big ones, patience, initiative. We survey our students when they are complete their study abroad experience, and we ask them to tell us what they learned and how they, from that experience and how they survived. 85% of the students who complete a program tell us that semester abroad was the most transformative and meaningful semester of their undergraduate, right? That was the semester that 5-10 years post study abroad, they look back and they think, that was the best semester of my life. So it's definitely worth it. And then why Barcelona? Professor Ball, feel free to jump in there. I know that you have been, really planning your courses and using Barcelona as a classroom. I did my study abroad in Spain. I lived in Spain for 25 years working on our programs in Spain. Barcelona is Spain's hip city. It's the city where all the Spanish youth want to go to live. There is, first of all, it's geographically privileged right on the Mediterranean, right? The city of Barcelona actually has 3 kilometers of beaches, but it's also very cultural, right? It has great cultural life, theater, concerts. And
it's super culturally diverse, right? I
Yes,
mean, they have this amazing history of, sort of Jewish dominance, Moorish dominance, Christian dominance, and yet somehow with all those different influences and everything, they've turned out to be this metropolitan city where, wow, everybody seems to get along, and it's really this sort of mecca, right? So I think it's a great place to study, right? Tour, I think the lessons that we have to learn in a place like Barcelona, I think are lessons that apply to us here in America. So.
Absolutely. So it's a really interesting mix of Spanish and with French influence, Italian influence, that Catalan sort of it makes it a really unique place in the world. All right, so let's go. Ideally too, we know that independent travel is probably high on your list of things that you want to accomplish this semester. So it's really ideally situated. You can get all over Europe easily and rather inexpensively. Lots of budget airlines fly in and out of the Barcelona airport, which is not far from the city. It's really well communicated by bus. And then you can visit the rest of Spain, which is an amazing country. We really highly recommend that you not just leave Spain every weekend, but that you travel to the different regions and really learn about the diversity that's within its borders. You'll really like.
Paula, I led the trip about 10 years ago when we were in Florence, and in a similar fashion, we'd have classes Monday through Thursday, and most Thursdays, students would come to class with their bags packed, and the minute they could, they hopped off on a train or, Ryanair, and off they went, right off to explore something. So yeah, a great little jumping off place to do a little bit of touring.
Absolutely. All right, and then just to give you a little more information about AIFS Abroad, we are a study abroad organization that has been sending students to other countries to complete their study abroad for nearly 60 years, over 50 years. We also receive students into the United States from other countries. We've worked with over 1.5 million students in all of those years. We've been working with the NCCCCD colleges since 1988, so of many years working with students and faculty from those schools. I think our forte are those last 2 points: the fact that we have local program coordinators that are based in Barcelona on a permanent basis. We have the study center there, our permanent office there, and so we have a great network of emergency response and crisis management procedures, just in case, right? We know that we want everything to go as smoothly as possible, but if there were an issue or an incident, then you have our full network there to help support you. And then we're going to go over program dates. Your departure from the US is Saturday, September 16th. You will fly to Barcelona overnight, arriving on the Sunday, the 17th. On the first 2 days in the city, you will have orientation with our staff, workshops, local area tour, just to get you situated, right? We want you to get there and sort of learn your way around and learn the ins and outs of your whole study abroad experience. Your courses will begin on the 20th of September, and then you have classes Monday through Thursday with your long weekends. You'll have that nice mid-semester break where you can travel for a more extended period. Your last day of class will be December 14th, and then end of program and departure from Barcelona on the 15th. As far as the student center, we are located really centrally in downtown, you could say, Barcelona. The street is called Carrer de Casp, right by the Plaza de Tetuan. The name of the building is Co-op, which is sort of it. We have the upper floors where they have the classroom facilities. There they have lots of different businesses and offices, as well as the classroom facilities. So we will have 2 classrooms on the 3rd floor, I believe. You also have your student lounge. You'll have access to computers and printers. Our student services staff will be there during regular office hours, sort of a 9 to 5 basis. And then they will be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the duration of the program. So you would always have someone to contact in case of emergency who's local. We do all of the activities and the setup, all of the logistics of the program is through AIFS. So we'll run your orientation, make sure that the facilities are ready to go. We coordinate your housing, and if you have any issues, it would be our housing coordinator who would assist. Your cultural activities and field trips and excursions, lots of student advising, counseling, help in case as needed.
And the program that we run here is a little different than what other colleges and universities sometimes do, right? So other universities, like my daughter, she participated in a study abroad program, and it was actually at a university in France, and she was housed there and all that. Our idea is that we send faculty members that you'd be taking here in the States to Barcelona, and you're taking your classes from them, and then AIFS organizes the classrooms that we use, and as Paula pointed out, all the support components that go along with that, all the way down to your housing. So it's a really full sort of, and in a few programs, I'm a big fan of this approach. In fact, I kind of wish my daughter had gone on this sort of program rather than the program she went on. So.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so here you get sort of a map of the central part of Barcelona. It is Spain's second largest city, so it is a large city. This is the central part of it. And you can see that we are housed right here, very close to the Sagrada Familia, which is a very famous basilica church there.
Which is bound to be completed anytime, you know, at any moment it will be completed. They've been working on it for what, 300 years or something. At any moment it will be done.
Any moment. And then if you look at this area right here, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but right where it says Barcelona Picasso Museum, Gothic Quarter, that is the oldest part of Barcelona and sort of the historic center of the city that goes right down to the port. So that's sort of what they call the center of the downtown, right? So you are super close. Within walking distance, which is really nice. And then most of your student apartments are in this, just above the Sagrada Familia, Gracia, Eixample, in all that area of Barcelona. So you're really in a privileged area. So it's really nice. You'll really get to see all of the city. All right, so I'm going to pass it on to your faculty, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the academics.
So all of the courses that we're running are transferable. When a faculty member applies, they've got to give the list of courses that they can teach. What we're really interested in is we want you to have this great study abroad experience, but we don't want you to fall at all behind in your ed plan, right? We're really interested in doing what we can on our end to make it so that you can transfer in a timely manner and that this really cool experience doesn't get in the way of that. So we've selected 4 professors that teach in diverse fields. I'll be teaching philosophy and global studies. We have a political scientist who's coming along. We have a English writing professor who's coming along, and a humanities/communications professor. So we're hoping that that diverse array, right, of courses will make it so that, again, you know, you're able to keep on track with your ed plan. So.
All right, we're going to go over the different classes offered. First is the Spanish Life and Culture course, which is the one required course. All of our students will take this course, and your faculty will be your professor of record. So he will participate, but we will have lots of local experts coming in to give you sort of really focused lectures and experiences on different aspects of Spanish culture, history, society. They'll do the arts and architecture, and the art in Barcelona, the modernist art, is just fantastic. And you'll be able to see a lot of that close up and personal. The politics and society, lots of great themes and things that will really help you understand and integrate yourself into life in Spain. And I think that's it. I'm not sure, Professor Ball, if you want to mention anything else there.
Well, just that the expectation is that you take 4 classes while you participate in the program. One of those classes will be this course. And then the expectation is you take at least one other course with me, your sort of homeschool professor, but then you can choose to take either more classes from me or from the other professors that are going along in the program.
Let's go to your slide first. Let me skip there. There you go. Of course, you're last, but there.
Of course, I'm last. Yeah, so there I am. Those are the courses that I'm offering. Hopefully, they're a nice, diverse array of classes. And myself and the other professors have worked fairly hard to find ways to integrate in the location that we're going to be teaching. So expect lots of field trips, expect, meeting here or there, somewhere to go and find connections between what we're talking about in the classroom with the really cool location you get to be living in while you study.
All right, we'll go backwards a little just to give you a little more information on some of the courses that are offered. This is Roxanne Morgan, professor at Los Rios.
It's worth noting too that these different schools use a different numbering system than what we use at College of San Mateo or in our district. So if you don't recognize the numbers, don't be too worried. Instead, take a look on the Study Abroad website. And there's actually a little sheet that tells you what requirements all of these courses fulfill. I'm also going to be talking with our counselors in the next couple weeks and giving them that same little sheet of paper so you can go and talk to your counselor and they can make sure that everything's organized in alignment with your ed plan. So again, this semester abroad doesn't set you back at all.
Exactly, super important. Some politics and culture, international relations, which would be really interesting to study while you are abroad. And then lastly, we will have some communication and humanities taught by a professor from Santa Rosa Junior College. So, all right, we're going to just jump ahead. All of this information is on the website as well as the brochure that is available on the website, so students can access that. And then on a weekly basis, we will have activities, field trips, tours. There'll be something going on every week. Some of them are free and included in the program, and others are heavily subsidized. That way we can offer more activities than we would be if they were all just included, and students can participate as their schedule allows and according to the interests that they have. But there's always something going on a weekly basis. In the evenings and the afternoons after class. One really interesting aspect of the program is that you'll get what we call the art ticket pass, and that it allows you to visit all of these different museums. So students will get entry into the amazing museums available in Barcelona. And you, of course, have heard of Picasso, possibly Miró, Tapies. There are a lot of modernist early 20th century artists that were born or lived and were part of a collective there in Barcelona. So it's really well known for its arts and architecture. Surrealism, Dali. So you've probably heard of them. Speaking of Dali, you'll go visit his house. So Dali was from Catalunya, and his house was in Figueres, which is not far from Barcelona. First, you'll go to Girona, which is just, I think, about 90 minutes from the city of Barcelona. So you'll take a really nice bus trip just toward the Pyrenees, be able to see the Pyrenees. I've done this trip. And then from there, you'll visit Girona, which is that city on the left. It is an old medieval village, really. It's not an extremely large city. It's a mid-sized to small city. And so you'll learn about the history and the cultures that built and lived in Girona. And then from there, you'll go to the coast, to Figueres, and you will visit Dali's house and museum, which is that structure on the right. You can see interesting, different, surreal, because he was sort of the father of Spanish surrealism. And you'll learn all about his life and his art. Also included in the program is a transportation pass. As you can see from the metro map there on the left, Barcelona has an amazing transportation system. So it's got a great metro. So you'll be able to get all around the city by metro. It's also got a great bus system. So, you know, you might prefer to be above ground sometimes, and you can take buses all around the city. So you'll use that to get to school on a daily basis. You'll use it for field trips and activities. You'll use it to explore on your own, right? We want you to see every single little corner of Barcelona. So that pass will be valid the entire program for unlimited use. So that's a great feature of this program.
And real quick, just to put it off till the end of the meeting, we had a chat question about STEM majors and their participation in the program. And rather than a quick response to the student, maybe we'll just talk a little bit about it once we're done giving information.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. As far as housing, so your housing is included in the program. You don't have to worry about finding your own place to live. The basic housing are student apartments. So we have some great apartments identified across the Gracia and the Eixample districts. We house about 4 to 6 students in double rooms in each apartment. You could say it's about a 30-minute commute to the study center. There are no meals included, but you have equipped kitchens, shared living area, full bath, Wi-Fi is included, washing machines. So they really are for the independent student, the student that wants to, you know, live on their own independently. And really learn to navigate the city well, right? You'll have to shop in supermarkets and markets on your own and prepare your meals. Or we could have the student that wants to sort of integrate and live with Spaniards. So we're able to offer homestays in Barcelona, which is a great feature. Lots of really wonderful, warm families. And every family is different, right? We have some that are single moms with younger children, single moms with older children, or an older couple whose children are out of the house. We have they come in all shapes and sizes. They would be a double room. So it would be 2 students per local family. And it does carry a supplemental fee because you get meals included in that option. You'd have breakfast every day and 5 evening meals a week. You would get your laundry would be included and access to Wi-Fi, just like in the other accommodation. And then just to wrap up the program inclusions, the program fee is $7,945. That includes your housing for 3 months in the student apartment, your access to the student center, staff services, your 24-hour emergency contact, your orientation and workshops, a guided tour of Barcelona, weekly subsidized activities in Barcelona, as we mentioned, your full-day excursion to Girona and Figueres, your art ticket pass, your transportation pass. It includes medical insurance, so students are covered for up to $100,000 worth of medical care if they're ill or you know, need medical attention. And then pre-departure orientation. Prior to departure, we will meet on the Skyline campus, and we will have a pre-departure meeting where you'll meet all of your faculty and your fellow students, and we'll get you ready for the program. If you choose the homestay, and I don't think I need to update this a little better, but if you choose the homestay, there would be an additional $750 supplement, as I mentioned before. What is not included would be your optional flights. We will be offering a group flight that students can sign up for if they wish when they enroll with AIFS. Your community college tuition fees would not be included, but any financial aid that you qualify for could be used for this program. Textbooks are not included, but I know your faculty works hard to make sure that your textbook fees are as low as possible. Any personal expenses that you have, like a passport fee, if you have to get a new passport, renew a passport, any personal travel that you do on your own time, it would not be included. Meals except as specified with the homestay. And then we are also offering additional insurance. Our refund policy are on the web pages that we are just about to publish, but there would be no refund if the program is canceled or you drop out. So this insurance policy allows you to protect those fees in case of program cancellation. A link to that would be offered when you enroll and pay your deposit with AIFS. And then just to give you information about the group flights, it will be round trip from the San Francisco airport to Barcelona and back. We would have an airport reception in Barcelona. So our staff would be there to pick you up and transfer you to the accommodation. And then at the end of the program, you would also be transferred from the accommodation to the airport. We don't have the price on this yet, but it should be out soon. I know that fall fares are starting to be released. But we do try and get as competitive fares as possible. But I think an estimate should be around $1,500–1,600. I think that's a fair guess. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything, or I can go into this section, or Stephanie maybe wanted to do a bit about the Gilman, or after I'm done.
Sure. Why don't you do your
This
bit on
slide?
scholarships, and I'll add a little bit after.
Okay, perfect. So these are some great links to scholarships. Definitely, we have the majority of students don't apply to scholarships, but I think a lot of times there's a lot more money out there and available than students think. I can't urge you enough to complete scholarship applications, write a really good personal statement, essay, answer the questions. You'd be surprised. Your chances are probably a lot better than you think. The first scholarship mentioned is an AIFS Ambassador Scholarship. AIFS will be offering 3 scholarships for students from your district for this program, right? So, chances are great for that. So please apply to that on the website, and Stephanie can give you more information. The Gilman is a large study abroad scholarship that just opened. Stephanie will give you more information now. The FEA scholarship, and then the links there. We can't urge you to enough to apply. And then, so do you want me to keep going, or you're going to jump in about the Gilman?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I just wanted to, again, as Paula said, urge everyone to apply for scholarships. Often students don't, and those who do are often surprised that they received sometimes more than one, sometimes various scholarships. For example, the Fund for Education Abroad, the third one down, we've had a couple students apply, and it is, it's a competitive scholarship, but they do encourage college students to apply. And so the Fund for Education Abroad scholarship, that one is open to U.S. citizens and permanent residents. And you do not have to be receiving the Pell Grant, as some other scholarships do require. And it's for up to, I believe, $5,000. Our students that have received the Fund for Education Abroad scholarship have received between $4,000 and $5,000. And then the second bullet point here, the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship, that is a scholarship that if you are eligible, I cannot urge you enough to apply. Skyline has been recognized as a top producing institution of Gilman Scholars. Nationally, I think like 1 in 4 students who apply for the Gilman are selected. So those are pretty good odds. But within our district, it's about 50% of the students who apply for the scholarship are selected, even more, like 51% last time I did the math. To be eligible for the Gilman Scholarship, you need to be a US citizen or national and receiving the federal Pell Grant. That is a grant through financial aid, so through your FAFSA application. If you're not sure if you're eligible, just come talk to us. We can work with you. We can connect with the financial aid office at your college and figure out if you're eligible. And if you are eligible for the Gilman Scholarship, we will help you. We'll work with you to help you, everything from helping you brainstorm ideas for your essay. We can share some student essays of who have been selected for the scholarship, as kind of just a sample of what are some strong personal statements. So we are here to support you in that process. So again, I encourage you to apply for scholarships. The last one, this top scholarship, that's for any students who are accepted into the study abroad program, into the Barcelona program. You can apply for that ambassador scholarship. And surprisingly, not every student does. Only a handful of students apply every semester, and literally everyone in the programs is eligible for it if you're doing the program. So,
right. So we have like 25, 30 students from the district. You have, a great chance.
Yeah. And not all of those 25, 30 students apply. So it's, I highly encourage you to apply for scholarships. A lot of students do receive them even when they're not expecting. And that's one way to help fund your program. So I will leave it at that.
Yeah, I always say that just that writing a really good personal statement, like maybe starting with the Gilman and writing that really good personal statement, you can recycle that for different, right? And so just bite the bullet and apply for one, and you'll see you can reuse it over and over. And that's a great skill to learn too for when you transfer, right? When tuition becomes a lot more expensive and maybe you're living on a campus and your expenses are greater. Once you learn to write those scholarship essays, you can apply and reapply later on.
Yeah, definitely. And you're recycling those because, your life is your life. That doesn't change. Right. Your personal statement of purpose is similar. And again, I know for some students, that's really intimidating to write these statements of purpose, but that's what our office is here for. We help lots of students with these, and we're happy to. So also like your learning center, and those are also helpful places to look for support, or faculty members that professors. There's a lot of people on campus that want to help you. So you just have to, reach out because we're here.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Other great ideas, creative funding ideas. Students are not only working super hard. We know that you probably go to school and have a part-time or maybe even full-time job, but to help fund study abroad as well, they are coming up with what we call a side hustle, right? They're getting creative. And first of all, they are changing their lifestyle a bit so they can save money and not, spend so much money prior to departure. Things like cutting down on expenses, like maybe streaming services, maybe going out to eat so much, maybe cutting down on shopping online, stuff like that, asking for gifts of money for birthdays, holidays, and then lots of back to basics ideas, things like the side hustle, having a garage sale like the student in this photo. Actually, I live close to where this student in the photo, and I ran into her right after the holidays, and she was just reminiscing about that crazy garage sale that she had for 2 days and raised a lot of of money for because she went around to all of her neighbors and collected donations of stuff, right? And organized this big 2-day garage sale and sold all of it and asked for donations at the garage sale. She sold lemonade, food. I mean, she was super entrepreneurial, and we were just reminiscing about that and how it was so worth it. She did a program of ours to Barcelona too. Getting online and asking your networks for support, right? Starting a GoFundMe or asking for people that you connect with on social media and in your life to support you financially through Zelle, Venmo campaigns, things like that. Those are different ways that students are asking for help as well. So every little bit counts, right? Using your financial aid, applying for scholarships, getting creative in raising funds and asking for support. These are all kinds of ways that students are funding their study abroad. We wanted to give a shout out to the program after Barcelona. So in the spring semester of 2024, the consortium, the Northern California Study Abroad Consortium will be taking 4 faculty to Florence, Italy for the spring 2024 semester. These are just some details of the different aspects of the program. Students will be living in apartments. There will be 4 faculty teaching numerous courses that are all gen ed courses and are all transferable. We know that the faculty going from this district is an anthropology faculty, and I believe not all the faculty are yet selected, but again, they will all be gen ed courses. There will be an Italian life and culture course instead of the Spanish life and culture courses. Those are some of the visits that they'll do, the excursions outside of the city, and lots of activities involved in that. So sometimes we get students who this next semester isn't good. They're thinking about maybe a year ahead will work for them. So we just wanted to mention that. And then basically you have your international programs office there on the right-hand side. Dr. Yang is the head of that office. Your deadline there, it's for your priority application is April 28th. So there's still a little time. And we'll take questions. And yeah.
Anybody have questions that we can answer? Any concerns?
I was wondering if your home base is, my home base is College of San Mateo, but I was more interested in the Los Rios or Contra Costa courses. Would that be possible for me to take their courses?
It is possible, yeah. So again, I think Vivian, the way they set it up is you take that the life and culture class. That'd be one course you take from me, your home campus, and then one other from me. But then if you want to take 2 courses from that other college, you could absolutely do that.
So the requirement is that you have to take at least 2 SMCCCD course, yeah. At least 2. One life and culture and another one taught by Dr. Jeremy Ball.
And then for the spring 2024, when the one in Italy, the classes would still be in Italian, right? I mean, no, it's English, sorry. Like, it wouldn't be too much of a language difficulty.
Now, again, one of the goals that we've had with the program, and again, there's various ways that you can do study abroad because some colleges and universities do it differently, is we really try to make this, community college classes, but offered in the setting of Barcelona. So they're taught by professors you'd have here if you're taking classes in English. And that's true of either Barcelona or if you were to do the Florence program, which it too is an amazing program. Not quite as good as Barcelona, but amazing.
Agreed.
I mean, if we wanted to be employed in either both Barcelona or Italy, would the center be able to help us with that, or would that be kind of like our own responsibility to find employment?
Well, the short answer is you can't officially work while you're there, not because of our regulations, but the way the visa works, right? So if you have a little side hustle that you're doing in the US and you're working online, that's going to totally work because you're effectively working in the United States. And I actually have a website, if you're interested in it, that does temporary online work for folks, right? It's a pretty cool gig. But as far as actually getting a job in Barcelona, they legitimately have the worry that folks are going to come there and sort of take jobs that the Catalonians, that the folks there should probably rightly have.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Cool.
But if you want to have more experience, I think you can consider doing research with professors there or still on the home campus, internship, volunteer. Yeah, there are other opportunities for you to help with your experience there.
And did folks have any questions about how housing works, how travel works?
My son couldn't make it right now because he's at work. But
Okay.
is there any organized trips like during the extended little mini vacation during the semester, or is that just a free-for-all as well?
Paul?
I think, yeah, I don't think that they have organized anything yet, but I know that we talked about organizing a trip or two. Is that right? While for an optional trips, right? That
Right.
would sign up for separately. Yeah, we would give them more information later on. But generally the majority of students want that week for family visits or to go on, you know, a trip farther or a train trip around Europe. But we would give them more information as the trip got closer.
And Paula, in the past, some of the weekend trips that are optional have been to places like Madrid. I think in the past, they've also gone down to, is it Morocco?
Yes.
That was a little iffy there for a little while, but, you know, but then again, during that long break, the thought is that folks might want to plan something a little bit more robust. So leaving that a little bit more, as you put it, Joe, a little bit more free for all. So.
No, I studied abroad back in '88, and this
Okay.
this sounds amazing. So
Nice.
I am
Yeah,
very jealous and excited.
My daughter did study abroad, and I've known quite a few students who've done different programs elsewhere. And again, I'm a big fan of this kind of program. It's really nice because students have a lot of leeway to kind of go and do their own thing if they choose to. But having AIF there on the ground, sort of helping out, really, I think provides this great safety net, because if anything comes up, there's a group of people that are there ready to help 24/7. You know, my wife and I are going to be there the whole time to, you know, try to help out. But again, if folks want to go off and do the sort of traditional, you know, ooh, I'm in a foreign country sort of thing and kind of be on their own, they have that leisure. Again, it's a study abroad program, so we have a strong expectation that they're attending class and doing stuff like that, right? But there's a lot of space to go off and have, you know, that really cool sort of study abroad experience. So.
And the student continue to earn credits units, so this won't delay their graduation but part of their education career.
Yeah, and you know, I said this in the last meeting we have, and I don't know if it's a good information or bad information, but it turns out when I did my study abroad program in Florence, again, I played the role of faculty member. Since then, I have maintained a relationship with just a huge number of those students. I mean, it's this environment where you just kind of get to know people. And, you know, for years after, people would sort of have little get-togethers. And it's even turned out that I ended up being the officiant at 2 of their weddings. So I don't know, I take that as a compliment that somebody had a meaningful enough experience that they asked me. You know, it could have been too that I was a really cheap efficient to get, but alas. So.
Another important point is that I think according to research, employers tend to hire students who have international experience. So it's really also for your future career development.
And for the housing, if the students don't take the group flight, would they be given their housing information so they can check in at a certain time, or would they have to go to the campus, meet there, and then they get the information on that particular day?
Yeah, so we will actually, the first night will be spent at a local hotel. So students who decide to fly on their own will be given the hotel information and give us their flight information so we know when to expect them. They'll be received in the reception area by one of our student services staff members, and then they'll sort of get, meet the rest of the group there that first night. And then the next day they'll do the orientation session, and then we will transfer all of them to their accommodations. So they don't have to worry about that. We do tend to send them the apartment information prior to departure. About a week prior to departure, they'll get their address.
And about a month before departure, we'll offer pre-departure orientation. Talk more about the logistics of the program.
And again, it's another one of the pluses that I like about this program is oftentimes other programs will put up students in like a dormitory type setting. The advantages here are you actually get to live out in the city, right? It's much more, I think, connected. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool way to go.
Yeah.
And are there restrictions on the apartments? Can they have a friend come over to visit for the weekend if they're going traveling, or?
Yeah, there are restrictions. So unfortunately, no visitors allowed. It's a safety issue more than anything for all of the different members and, who live in the home. No guests, unfortunately.
That makes sense.
You've traveled, lots of great hostels and expensive student accommodations all around the city. So we would definitely recommend that. And then we sometimes get the questions, if I have a friend visit, can I go stay with them, or a family visit, can I go stay with them? And that's absolutely fine. We will be tracking their movements, just again for health and safety reasons. So if they ever, if they don't come home or they want to spend a night outside, they just need to give us their information, right? Where they're going, where they're staying, all of that. So in case of emergency, we know where to reach them.
So Stephanie, I see your answer to Veronica. Do you want to explain a little bit about the application process?
Sure, yes. So the question was about acceptance, like when will students know if they're accepted into the program? And so the process is that the first step is to fill out the AIFS application or enrollment form. And that's the one that you'll find here linked. It's also linked on our the Study Abroad website through SMCCCD's Study Abroad page. Which we will drop the link in the chat. And it's a basic enrollment form. It asks for, some basic personal information, emergency contact, etc. Ask about like your housing preferences, if you want the group flight and such. AIFS, all the billing and payment for the program fees, that will all be done through that AIFS link, through that AIFS portal. The tuition for your classes, that's separate and that's paid directly to the colleges. So once you fill out that AIFS application enrollment form, we will be notified, and then we will do two things. We'll send you some supplemental questions, short answer essay questions to know, to get to know more about why you want to study abroad, what your goals are for the program, questions like that. And then we'll also reach out to schedule a short interview with you. It's partially an interview, it's also an advising session. So we can meet with you, go over some important information, talk to you and learn again more about why you want to do the program. And then after that interview and those supplemental questions, then students would be notified if they're accepted into the program. If for any reason a student were not accepted, we would not accept you. We would not process your application in the AIFS portal, and you could receive a refund. Once we accept you, then there's a refund policy that is on the website, and we'll go over with you. But then there are, some withdrawal deadlines to be aware of. But I think I answered beyond the question, but essentially you do the AIFS enrollment form, some supplemental questions from us, short interview with us, and then you'd be notified if you're accepted or not. And I think this was probably mentioned earlier in the presentation, but the eligibility requirements are that you've completed 12 units of college coursework and that you have a minimum of a GPA of 2.25. You cannot be on academic probation and go abroad.
And just a quick question on that, since I'm the faculty and I don't always know these things. Since we have a really robust middle college program, I can imagine fairly easily a student who is 18 and has completed 12 units and is officially like a freshman as far as years go. But again, they would be like a second semester freshman in the beginning of the year because of the units. Would they be eligible to participate?
Yes, yeah, as long as they're 18 and they've completed those 12 units. We need some proof, some demonstration that they've been able to, complete college level coursework successfully, because we don't want to send students abroad who have never taken a college class,
Right.
and then suddenly they're doing it in Barcelona where there's so much else to navigate, right? And maybe not as robust of a network as they might have here for support. We don't want to send students abroad who haven't demonstrated yet that they can successfully complete some college coursework. But if they're a middle college student, they have 12 units, they're 18 years old. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then, okay. I was going to say that Haya had a question on the text, but Alice responded to her. So.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
we
well,
have GPA requirement, so we do need a transcript for at least one semester, right? 12 units.
Yes, yeah, we will.
Requirement
We'll submit a transcript
for the program.
Yeah, and I wanted to add to Alice's answers to Haya's question. It kind of depends on the scholarship. So the scholarship, the one through AIFS, you apply after you've been accepted to the program, because you're only eligible for that scholarship if you're actually accepted into the program, because it's tied to this program. The Gilman scholarship, that one you can apply to before you've been accepted into the program. It's recommended to apply for the program first, but sometimes students don't hear, they hear about all this the week before the Gilman scholarship. And so at that point, the priority is applying for the Gilman. And for something like the Gilman scholarship, you can apply even if you have not yet applied or been accepted to your study abroad program. Again, it's better to apply for the study abroad program first, but you can apply for the Gilman scholarship.
Yeah, that's correct. Because the study abroad advisor of your home institution will certify your application. So it's okay if you are in the process of the study abroad application, not being accepted by program. So you can apply Gilman before accepted by the program.
And now that classes are sort of back and we're away from break, do we have an idea of how long it takes from application to acceptance? Is there kind of a normal time frame in the past that we can use?
Yeah, we do it on a rolling basis. So we'll
Rolling
kind of do batches of interviews. mainly it's when can we get everyone scheduled, find time on
Mhm.
campus to have everyone meet with you, Professor Paul, and someone from our team. So it's more, you know, how does the scheduling work with that student? But I'd say it can take anywhere from, you know, a couple weeks to maybe a month, depending on when the student is available and
Mhm.
if it takes them a while to submit everything.
Perfect.
And our
Thank you.
goal is to start the interview cycle from next week.
Right.
Once we review everything, we think you're qualified, we would accept you, as soon as possible. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. So all the students, do you have any questions for Paula or Professor Paul?
I have one
Just
question.
one last question. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Jose.
Hello. So I guess I also gonna need to schedule an appointment with you guys because it's like kind of complicated case. But if I can afford to the trip, and I am also a resident, a permanent resident, can I apply to another like scholarships or something to afford the whole like travel?
I think for Gilman, they require US citizenship, so you're not qualified for Gilman scholarship. But for AIFS and then Fund for Education Abroad, if you are accepted by the program, you can apply for those scholarship. No problem with that. And if you want to, have a one-on-one advising session, you may contact me. Send an email to me. My email address is yang@smccd.edu. So we can talk more about it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jose.
I
Well,
just
great.
also
I
wanted to
think,
ask.
okay,
I'm
Vivian,
sorry.
go for it.
Because tuition is free right now for San Mateo residents, is tuition also free if we were to study abroad, or would that mean that because we're living here, we also pay for tuition?
It's free for your CSM classes, but if you happen to take classes from some of those other districts, you'd have to pay their tuition, which again is fairly cheap, right? But the freebie for us doesn't apply to them. And I
Yeah,
think
thank
currently
you.
it's just applies to people in San Mateo County. Is that correct, Stephanie?
We were advised to do you may qualify for free tuition for CSM classes. I believe that is being decided right now for
the
fall.
board will discuss it. I think the final decision will be made around March
Mhm.
for the fall semester. So
Yeah,
right now
for
we cannot
spring-
say for sure. Yeah.
The spring is, but the fall they're still deciding. So, but you may be eligible for free tuition through CSM. And I did want to add for the other classes, if you are receiving financial aid though, like if your tuition was covered even before the bill was passed this past year, like if you receive financial aid through FAFSA, then that would still cover the tuition of your classes at the other colleges. Because that's either a federal or a state financial aid. And so that would cover your tuition at the other colleges. So it really depends on what you're eligible for. And so always it's a good idea to meet with a financial aid advisor before you do study abroad. You can meet with our office as well, but a financial aid advisor could really look at what you're eligible through FAFSA and what that could apply to specifically.
Great. So I think we're kind of out of time here. I totally invite you, though, if you have questions, to reach out. I'm happy to chat with you. I think Alice and Stephanie are happy to talk as well. As finishing up, I think this is an amazing opportunity. Again, I think a lot of students who participate in programs like this, as it was pointed out earlier, cite this as one of the best experiences they had while they were in college, right? I have this little mantra that I sort of go by in life, and that is I'd much prefer the things that I did as opposed to the things I never did. And I think this is an amazing opportunity to go out and challenge yourself and have a fairly amazing adventure with no major risks to your educational goals. In fact, I think quite the opposite. So I'm excited about the program. I'm excited that you joined us tonight. I'm very hopeful that you'll join us on the program. And again, we're more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. Just reach out and contact us. Great. Thank you all very, very much for showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you
Goodbye,
soon.
Paula.
Bye.
Bye, Paula.